Hello, Manna24 Christian TV audience. My name is Dr. Hyun Lee. I am so honored to be back here with you today. Before we begin, I would like to thank University of Virginia, Northern Virginia campus team, Dean Greg Fairchild, Executive Director Julie Sarah Boyd, and Aaron and the whole team for welcoming us at this beautiful Northern Virginia campus location. We have a very special guest, Larry Roberts, Director of Sorensen Institute for Political Leadership at the University of Virginia. Director Roberts served as a legal counsel to Governor Tim Kaine from 2006 to 2009. He also served as a prominent communication lawyer, serving over 25 years. Director Roberts leads Sorensen Institute, which is dedicated to cultivating effective and ethical leaders, public leaders across Virginia. Welcome, Director Roberts. We are happy to be here with you today. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and Sorensen program offering?
So I'm so happy to be here at the University of Virginia, Northern Virginia campus because I am an alum of the University of Virginia, came to Virginia to go to school and fell in love with the university, so I'm happy to be back here in the Northern Virginia campus. After undergraduate, I went to Georgetown Law School and practiced in federal communications law for nearly 25 years. During that time, I served as president of the Bar Association, and I created a foundation that has raised millions of dollars for various causes in the DC metro region. During my career, I became interested in politics and government in Virginia. I've lived in Virginia all my adult life, and so I went to the Sorensen Institute to get a good grounding in state politics and government, and that led me to leading 6 successful statewide political campaigns and to my service as counsel to Governor Kaine. So I went back to law practice, then I went back into state government, and in 2020 I took the job as director of the Sorensen Institute. So the Sorensen Institute has 4 programs where we try to promote effective leadership and sound public policy in Virginia. We have a high school program where students come to Charlottesville campus for 2 weeks. We get a great group of 32 students from around the state who are interested in civic engagement and learning more about Virginia. We have a college program, which is a virtual program for 5 weeks, and a cohort of roughly 15 to 30 college students who learn about a sector of our Virginia economy. We have an emerging leaders program for people who are in the first 10 years of their career. A lot of government staff people go through that program. And then we have our political leaders program, which is for people that are in mid-career and are already established in their careers but are looking to make a major contribution to Virginia's civic life.
So as a PLP alumni, Political Leaders Program of Sorensen, I personally learned so much about public leadership, public policy, and so many different issues surrounding Virginia, and also was able to build meaningful relationship with a lot of participants across Virginia. So this is about Sorensen PLP and also Sorensen core missions and visions and values in general. Can you tell me more about what Sorensen is really about? What is the Sorensen lesson? And also maybe PLP program, how PLP can shape and help to build and enhance our effective and team leaders in Virginia.
So the Korean American community in Virginia is largely centered in Northern Virginia, with some folks in the Richmond area and also in Hampton Roads. But Virginia is a very large state with lots of different population centers. And so what we try to do at Sorensen is to give people a sense of the broader Commonwealth. So things that are important in Northern Virginia, other people around the state need to know about why those things are important, and especially as the Korean American population grows in political influence, making sure that their perspectives are being understood and valued by people from all over Virginia. So in the Political Leaders Program, we bring people together for 9 months. They travel to a different part of the Commonwealth each month, and they interact with leaders from those regions. They learn about challenges, opportunities, successes. They're engaging with experts, and really getting a strong sense over 2 or 3 days about how that region works. We also promote certain core values. So I think most people know this is a challenging political time, and so we're looking at values that we think will carry forward over many years. Virginia is 250, America's 250 years old. Virginia is about 400 years old. I know that pales in comparison to 5,000 years of Korean history, but there are certain timeless values that have served Virginia well, and among those are trust, civility, respect, ethics, effective leadership, and working with people who have different life experiences than you do.
So many of our viewers and audiences are not familiar with Sorensen program, such as young leaders, high school leaders, college leaders. So we would like to learn more about high school and college leaders, our next generation of leaders, and how the Sorensen can help to build this ethical leaders, especially in the young populations.
So, young people think about the future of the country and future leadership, and so one thing that I want to make sure they know is that Sorensen alumni go on to prominent positions in Virginia. So 2 members of Congress from Virginia are Sorensen alumni. Our current Attorney General in Virginia is a Sorensen alum. 20% of our General Assembly, 19 delegates and 9 senators all went through Sorensen programs. So, and in fact, some Korean American leaders are now serving in the General Assembly. Mark Keem, who served in the General Assembly, was a Sorensen alum. We have Irene Shin in the General Assembly now, who I hope will go through a Sorensen program in the future. So, young leaders can see these people who have been successful in the political and governing space and think, I can do that too. So our high school program, as I said, we bring 32 students from all over Virginia. We've been fortunate in recent years to have a Korean American students in each of our program classes, and we hope that will continue. They come to Charlottesville for 2 weeks. They live in the university dorms. They get a sense of what college life is like. Maybe they can put it on their UVA application. And they do a very intense 2 weeks working on public policy, Virginia's history, Virginia's government structure, engaging in different public policy concerns. They interact with 50 or 60 speakers over the 2 weeks. They take a trip to a dairy farm, which many students haven't been to before, and they also go to the state capitol in Richmond. They do a public policy project, and at the end of the program, they do a presentation of their project to government leaders who then give them an evaluation of how they did and how they might do better, but always encouraging them for the quality of their work. So it's a terrific program. About a quarter to a third of the program participants are from Northern Virginia, but you do get to meet people from all over the state. Our college program does a deep dive into a sector of our economy, so we look at healthcare. Last year, we looked at transportation a couple years ago, and it's 5 weeks virtual from 9:30 to usually 12:30. That's actually a paid internship, so we pay the students to do the program. The high school program you have to pay to go through, but the college program is an internship program. Again, we have 100 speakers come and talk to the students over the course of the 5 weeks. Most recent program, we had the First Lady of Virginia. We had the State Health Commissioner. We had people from the General Assembly. We had the person who heads the Medicaid agency at the state level. So doctors, nurses, dentists, hospital executives, insurance executives. So it's just a chance to get a sense of how public policy is made in Virginia in the context of a particular part of our economy.
So now we would like to turn our attention to our audience, Korean American population, and also multicultural communities in Virginia and beyond. So you talked about different programs, and as you know, Virginia has a vibrant Korean American population, especially metropolitan area in Northern Virginia, Virginia Beach, Richmond, Hampton Roads. So can you please share more about what opportunities and partnerships can Korean American community can gain from this program offering, and also not just Korean American communities, but multicultural communities as well?
You know, Northern Virginia particularly has a multicultural environment. In other parts of the state, less so. And so I think it's important for people across Virginia to understand the vibrancy of the Korean American community. So Korean American participants learn about other communities, learn about the government structure and the history of the state, but it's also an opportunity to introduce people to the valuable aspects of what Korean Americans bring to the Commonwealth. I've worked closely with the community before I was in the governor's office, but certainly while I was in the governor's office, and I have great respect for the leadership that I'm seeing develop in the Korean American community. This gives you the skills and the confidence to be able to work closely with state and local government leaders. I should mention, because the Northern Virginia base of a lot of the Korean American community, Chairman Jeff McKay from Fairfax is an alum of our program. Phyllis Randall, the chair in Loudoun County, Justin Wilson, who was recently mayor of Alexandria, Takis Karantonis and Matt DeFerranti, who have been chairs of the Arlington County Board, all have gone through our program and all have good working relationships with the Korean American community. So I've seen Korean Americans come down to the General Assembly in Richmond or to the governor's office and maybe feel a little hesitant about how best to contribute, and our program really gives you the relationships, the skills, the knowledge base to operate effectively in local government, state government, and even congressional offices. So, I'm excited about what I see as the growth of the community. As communities mature politically, you want to see broad leadership. You don't want to see just one or two people who are leading the community. You want to see many people who can be effective advocates for the community. So that's what we look at as we enroll Korean Americans in our programs. I know last year in our political leaders program we had 2 Korean Americans. So it's a real opportunity to learn from different cultures that exist in Virginia, but also to share the values and the experiences that Korean Americans have. Well, I'm excited to create opportunities for lots of different communities in Virginia, but I'm particularly interested in providing opportunities to the Korean American community. So, for example, how many Korean Americans have been to the First African American Baptist Church in Williamsburg? How many Korean Americans have been down in a coal mine, have been to the shipyard in Newport News, have been to a dairy farm in the Shenandoah Valley? These are opportunities to really experience what the Commonwealth has to offer, much as I learned so much in my travels around Korea.
All right, so now we learned so much about Sorensen Impact, the ethical leadership, team leadership that we're learning about Sorensen. Now we would like to switch gears to more about you. You as a director, you as a person. You've been involved in Virginia politics, national campaigns, law practice, and public service. And how does your experience have shaped your leadership principles and to lead and mentor others? And also, what defining moments that you would like to share that was meaningful to you personally as a director of Sorensen program?
So I greatly benefited from teachers, mentors that helped me along my path and allowed me to be a successful communications lawyer, and it gave me an opportunity to get involved in state, local, and national politics and state government. The Sorensen Institute was instrumental to my development. I was interested in state government and politics, but I lived in Arlington, which is in the very corner of the state, and I didn't know as much as I needed to know about the rest of Virginia to be effective. So Sorensen gave me that crash course. When I was in the governor's office, any problem that came to me, I felt I could visualize what was happening on the ground because I had been to those regions as part of the Sorensen Institute. I knew that if there was a particularly challenging issue, that there was somebody that I could talk to in any part of the state that I needed to that could give me a sense of what was happening. So it was incredibly valuable to me, the Sorensen experience. What inspires me to do this work is that we're in a time where people want to divide each other, and we need to come together. Virginia is a commonwealth. We're in this together. And so what I really love about this work is we're helping people to see how can I get things done effectively by working with people who may not be like me, but who I need to convince. The rest of Virginia needs to understand Northern Virginia's challenges and to respond to them because Northern Virginia is such an important part of the state economy, for example. The leadership principles that I have, I developed by watching really good leaders and incorporating those things that worked with my personality. And one thing about Sorensen is you get to interact with lots of different leaders who come at it from very different ways, but all have been effective in the way they do it. So, I've had the chance to watch really good leaders. Certainly now U.S. Senator Tim Kaine, watching him very closely as a leader and as his confidential aide. I've incorporated some of the things that he taught me, but also many things that I've learned through the Sorensen program. The inspiration is when, as director of the program, you see a light bulb go off. You see a student really begin to understand something that they didn't know before, or to see a relationship building that they wouldn't have had outside of our work. So you're an educator. You know how exciting it is when you see students really latch on to a concept and understand it. So that keeps me going, is the chance to interact with 120 people every year who want to be better public leaders and civic leaders.
Looking ahead, we can learn from the past and understand the present and preparing our future. So how do you envision the Sorensen role moving forward, especially building relationship and offering ethical leadership for Korean American communities and especially immigrant communities and beyond?
Korea, I've seen the work ethic, the desire to follow rules, the desire to be innovative, to honor their elders. So these are values that I think are really important in America, and that the Korean American community has a lot to offer Virginians about the values that they hold dear. I think for our program, we give Korean Americans the opportunity to communicate those values to others, but also to expand what they know about our state. How many Korean Americans have been down in a coal mine, for example? How many have been on a dairy farm in the United States? How many have gone to the shipyard in Newport News? All these types of experiences that we have, can broaden how they think about the state, and also to see how they might, be able to better contribute to the work that we do. So, I'm proud of our Korean American alumni. I hope that they will communicate to other members in the community how valuable the experience was to them. I just know from personal experience how much Sorensen allowed me to engage successfully in politics and government, and it can happen for anybody that really cares about it. There are people who want you to be more fully engaged in the political process and the governing process, and welcome the participation of the Korean American community. So, as I said, I had a chance to interact with Korean American leaders when I was in the governor's office. Governor Kaine was very fond of the community. but it's time for the next level of participation. Right now there are certain trusted people in the community that are often the go-to people, and we want there to be hundreds of Korean Americans who are comfortable navigating state government and politics and contributing to the success of our state. So Sorensen gives you the tools to do that, from high school all the way up to people in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. So I would just encourage, it's a two-way street. The more that the community engages in the process, the more the process will want to engage with them, and Sorensen's a unique and special opportunity to be able to do that.
만나에서 만나요.